Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to look at the question, are indie games becoming more popular today than in years past? Now in short, the answer is obviously yes. Indie games have seen a huge surge in popularity over the last several years. Now for example, Steam sales for indie games has risen from 25% of total revenue in 2018 to 31% in 2023. And I'm quite certain that percentage is even higher in 2025. And these increases aren't just being seen on the PC either. This is a growing trend across consoles as well. Now I believe there are several factors for this increase in popularity, and the first thing that comes to my mind is the innovative style that indie games really bring. Indie developers really push the envelope when it comes to creativity, and some really wild but cool results come out of it. Now it seems that most of the AAA developers and publishers tend to stick to some type of formula when it comes to game creation. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that these games are repetitive or don't offer up anything new to players. Most of the time, there does tend to be a lot of similarities to previous titles. Now, with indie games, however, you can really experience new game mechanics, unique art styles, crazy stories to follow, and so much more. The overall uniqueness in this genre is what keeps me coming back for more and more. The second factor I see for the increase in popularity is community engagement. Now, many gamers love to jump into games early and get their hands dirty with the overall creation, debugging, and just overall feedback that they can provide to the development team. And this can be in the form of an early access pass or even a demo of the game to get a partial experience of what the game will be like. Now, getting early access to a game and allowing community feedback can not only allow players to connect with the game on a deeper level, but can also lead to some really unique and innovative games. Now, the final factor that contributes to the overall success of indie games has got to be pricing. Many AAA titles have become very expensive and have all sorts of in-game purchases or microtransactions that can really add up over time. Now, most indie games are released with a fairly low price point most of the time, even though the experience can be just as rewarding as a highly publicized title. Now, not only are AAA games expensive for the end consumer, but the production costs have gone up drastically as they attempt to keep up with competitors, current hardware output, and etc. When thinking about indie games, we tend to only think about games that may not have gotten a lot of notoriety. However, there are some big hitters in the indie genre, which has only helped to propel the genre to the forefront of gaming. Now, for example, just in the last several years, we've gotten titles like Hollow Knight, Hades, Stardew Valley, and even Minecraft. Now, I know Minecraft may have been bought out by the likes of Microsoft, causing it to fall under a different umbrella, so to speak, but it definitely got its start as a sandbox indie. Now, Hollow Knight by Team Cherry was also a game that kind of came out of nowhere. The development team is very small, yet they created one of the best Metroidvania games to date. Now, we even saw a game like Palworld, which is another indie title that took Steam by storm when it first launched and broke all kinds of records in sales and playtime. Now, to sum up this video, there is no doubt that indie games are on the rise, and I personally do not see that slowing down anytime soon. There are just too many great titles and great benefits to playing and experiencing indie games that will only help the genre grow and expand. So if you haven't experienced an indie game, or at least not recently, let me recommend a few that I promise you'll fall in love with, depending on what types of games you enjoy playing. So recent additions to the indie genre, such as Animal Well, is a fantastic game that was created by a solo developer, which in my mind is beyond impressive. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we also have Palworld, which is somewhat like Pokemon, but plenty different that it sets itself apart. And of course you have your staples of the genre in the form of Hollow Knight, Hades, Celeste, Undertale, Stardew Valley, Valheim, Tunic. I mean, this list could really go on and on. So do yourself a favor, try out a new indie game and see what you've been missing. Also, leave me a comment below on your favorite indie game.